I would like to call to order the September 19th, 2023 Little Rock City Board of Directors meeting. We'd like to welcome those in attendance as well as those that are watching at home or streaming online. Madam Clerk, will you please read the roll?
Director Miller,
Here.
Director Richardson,
Here.
Director Pack, here. Director Hines,
Present.
Director Lewis, here. Director Wyrick,
Present.
Director Capuris, Director Phillips,
Present.
Director Adcock, Vice Mayor Webb,
Here.
Mayor Scott.
I'm going to call on Attorney Tom Carpenter, who is going to give us our invocation.
Please join me. The time is now. The place is here. The task is to do the best that can be done to do the city's business and the people's business. In doing so tonight, we particularly remember and offer concerns for firefighters and individuals who were injured in a wreck this day that involved one of our fire engines. We know that on this agenda, we have numerous items that will assure health care for our employees, that will take care of the renewal of contracts that must be done, and that will also take care of zoning issues that have been considered by our commissions and sent to us for recommendation and final action. We are not perfect. Our judgments are not always correct. Our expectation is to do our best, to do what we can to be fair, and to make sure that all points are considered in the best interest of those we serve. Amen.
Thank you, Tom. Let's stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay, we have one modification for tonight's agenda. It's appropriating economic development funds for the Little Rock Port. I don't know if the city manager wants to add to that information or not.
Dr. Wyrick and city board members, you all actually passed this in March. If you remember, we did that in the chamber. But in order to appropriate the money, we needed to have this resolution passed.
Okay.
Move to add M1 resolution to consent agenda.
Second.
Mayor,
Okay.
before you vote, there's a need to defer item number 31 as a modification. It is an item that I referred to in an email to the board this afternoon as item 30. It's the laying out of an improvement district on Carter Lane. The parties have gotten together and worked out some of the details, but nothing's in writing. And so until that's done, it would be better to defer this for a period of 2 weeks.
Move to defer.
Second.
So can we vote on both of those at one time, add M1 to the resolution and defer item number 31?
So moved.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. Okay, so the two items have been passed. We'll add M1 to the consent agenda. So Madam Clerk,
Director Warwick.
I'm sorry. Yes, sir.
One item. On item 31, Director Collins was in and he made a statement last time we heard this before we diverted that he had met with all of the neighbors, but I heard from our neighbors that are on the east side of this development in Madison Valley that they had not had any contact from staff as to what the finalized plans. I would ask that Director Collins reach out to them. Former Director Keck lives in that neighborhood and he can be the point of contact.
Is Mr. Collins in the room that hears that request? Yes, sir. Okay, thank you. All right. Madam Clerk, if you would, please read the consent agenda along with item M1.
The consent agenda consists of a motion to accept the 2020 audit, a resolution to authorize the city manager to enter into a contract with Viking Sives Midwest Incorporated in an amount not to exceed $325,338 plus applicable taxes and fees for the purchase of two 2024 Freightliner Model 108 SD plus conventional chassis trucks with Viking drum beds for the Parks and Recreation Department and for the purposes, a resolution authorized the city manager to enter into a contract with Spatco Energy Solutions in an amount not to exceed $61,538.12 plus applicable taxes and fees for the purchase of 6 new fuel pumps and the installation at City of Little Rock fueling locations at Asher Maintenance, Rebsamen, and Central Fire Station, and for the purposes, a resolution to authorize the city manager to enter into a contract with Smart Automotive Group in an amount not to exceed $222,720 plus applicable taxes and fees for the purchase of 5 Ford F-150 trucks for the Fleet Services and Parks and Recreations Department, and for the purposes, a resolution authorizes the city manager to enter into a contract with Clear Creek Golf Car and Utility Vehicles in an amount not to exceed $149,575.75 plus applicable taxes and fees for the purchase of 11 Club Car utility cars for the Little Rock Zoo, and for the purposes, a resolution authorizes the city manager to enter into a contract with Quality Security Services Incorporated in an estimated amount not to exceed $289,000 to provide security guard services at various city facilities, and for the purposes, a resolution authorizes the city manager to enter into a contract with Utility Associates Incorporated in amount not to exceed $60,292 plus applicable taxes and fees for the continued support for the Little Rock Police Department modems, and for the purposes, a resolution authorizes the city manager to enter into a contract with Dell Technologies in amount not to exceed $107,733.75 plus applicable taxes and fees for the purchase of 52 Dell laptops and equipment for the Little Rock Police Department, and for the purposes, a resolution authorizes the city manager to execute a construction management service agreement with East Harding Construction and 1911 Construction, a joint venture in the amount not to exceed $528,000 for the pre-construction and full construction management services for the Little Rock District Court Building and the Little Rock Police Department Property Room Project to be located at 700 West Malcolm Street, and for the purposes, funding from the limited tax general obligation capital improvement bonds. A resolution to amend Little Rock, Arkansas Resolution Number 15,932 of March the 7th, 2023, to authorize the city manager to execute agreement to the contract with Hyco Incorporated in the amount of $637,962 to renovate the Board of Directors chambers at Little Rock City Hall, and for the purposes, a resolution to authorize the city manager to enter into a contract with Delta Dental Insurance at an amount not to exceed $1,500,000 to provide administrative services for the period beginning January 1st, 2024 to December 31st, 2024, and for the purposes, a resolution to authorize the city manager to enter into a contract with Cigna Insurance at an amount not to exceed $17,870,500 for the city's group health plan for the period beginning January 1st, 2024 to December 31st, 2024. A resolution authorizes the city manager to enter into contract with VSP an amount not to exceed $170,000 to provide administrative services for the self-funded vision plan for the period beginning January 1st, 2024 to December 31st, 2024, and for the purposes, a resolution authorizes the city manager to enter into a contract with Symetra Insurance an amount not to exceed $750,000 for group life, group AD&D, and long-term disability insurance for the period beginning January 1st, 2024 to December 31st, 2024, and for the purposes, a resolution authorizes the city manager to enter into a contract with Transamerica for voluntary cancer insurance for the period beginning January 1st, 2024 to December 31st, 2024, and for the purposes, a resolution to authorize the city manager to enter into a contract with Transamerica for voluntary group universal life insurance for the period beginning January 1st, 2024 to December 31st, 2024, and for the purposes, a resolution to authorize the city manager to enter into a contract with Symetra Insurance for voluntary group life and group AD&D insurance for the period beginning January 1st, 2024 to December 31st, 2024, and for the purposes, a resolution authorizes the city manager to enter into contract with Symetra Insurance for voluntary critical illness insurance for the period beginning January 1st, 2024 to December 31st, 2024. And for the purposes, a resolution authorizes the city manager to enter into contract with Aflac for voluntary group accident insurance for the period beginning January 1st, 2024 to December 31st, 2024. And for the purposes, a resolution authorizes the city manager to enter into contract with Transamerica for hospital indemnity insurance for the period beginning January 1st, 2024 to December 31st, 2024. A resolution to authorize the city manager to enter into contract with Massa Medical Services Transport for medical transport insurance for the period beginning January 1st, 2024 to December 31st, 2024. And for the purposes, a resolution to authorize the city manager to enter into contract with Simple Will for estate planning services for the period beginning January 1st, 2024 to December 31st, 2024. And for the purposes, a resolution to authorize the city manager to enter into contract with Commonwealth Heritage Group LLC an amount not to exceed $71,223 to resurvey a portion of the Hillcrest National Register Historic District. And for the purposes, a resolution to express the willingness of the city of Little Rock, Arkansas to utilize federal aid funds for the Arkansas River Trail at Cantrell Road. And for the purposes, a resolution to amend Little Rock, Arkansas Resolution Number 16,067 of August 15th, 2023, to authorize the city manager to enter into a contract with Busco Sports Lighting LLC an amount not to exceed $875,000 for new facility sports lights for 6 baseball, softball fields at Junior Deputy Park. And for the purposes, a resolution authorizes the city manager to expend the sum of $2 million in economic development funds to assist with the port super site located within the Little Rock Port. And for the purposes, that concludes the consent agenda.
Move for the adoption of the consent agenda.
Second.
You've heard the motion in the second. Those that are in favor of the resolutions, please say aye.
Aye.
Those that are, that come from?
Vice Mayor Webb. She's tuned in.
I think that was an aye.
Yeah.
Okay, those that are opposed, please say no. Okay, the resolutions have passed.
Director Rod, my hand is up for a quick technical question for Mr. Moore. He may or may not know the answer to this.
I see you, Mr. Richardson,
What was-
Director Richardson. I'm getting used to this little panel here. It's a little bitty hand.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead, please.
Bruce, on these utility cars we're approving for the zoo, do they have GPS or do you even know that? Because Director Hines, played golf at Reserman Sunday, and I just was made aware that the recent approval of purchase of new golf carts would not be equipped with GPS, unlike the ones that we currently have out there right now. So with these, do you even know, or can Wendell speak to that?
Department Director, Fleet Services, Willie Hinton.
Yes, sir.
Recognized. Go ahead.
Ma'am?
You're
Yes, sir.
recognized, go ahead.
So, yes, sir. Those for the zoo, fleet purchase, so all fleet purchases has GPSs put in them when we get them.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Director Rod.
Thank you, Director Richardson. Okay, Madam Clerk, if you would, please read the group items.
An ordinance to approve a plan zoning development, establish a plan development commercial titled Custom Made Properties Mini Storage PDC located at 2501 South State Street, Little Rock, Arkansas, amending the official zoning map of the city of Little Rock, Arkansas, and for the purposes, an ordinance to approve a plan zoning development, establish a plan development residential titled SMH Care and Services PDR located at 2222 South Chester Street, Little Rock, Arkansas, amending the official zoning map of the city of Little Rock, Arkansas, and for the purposes, an ordinance to approve a plan zoning development, establish a planned commercial development titled Lorax LLC PCD located at 405 East 21st Street, Little Rock, Arkansas, amending the official zoning map of the city of Little Rock, Arkansas, and for the purposes, an ordinance to amend ordinance to amend the land use plan in the Pinnacle Planning District located at 18,404 Cantor Road from office and mixed use to commercial, and for the purposes, An ordinance to reclassify property located in the city of Little Rock, Arkansas, amending the official zoning map of the city of Little Rock, Arkansas, and for the purposes first reading.
Move to suspend the rules and place on second reading.
Second.
There's a motion and second to suspend the rules and move to the ordinance to second reading. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, say no. Okay, Madam Clerk, second reading, please.
An ordinance to approve a plan zoning development, establish a plan development commercial titled Custom Made Properties Mini Storage PDC located at 2501 South State Street. An ordinance to approve a plan zoning development, establish a plan development residential titled SMH Care and Services PDR located at 2222 South Chester Street. An ordinance to approve a plan zoning development, establish a plan commercial development titled Lorax LLC PCD located at 405 East 21st Street. An ordinance to amend the land use plan in the Pinnacle Planning District located at 18,404 Cantrell Road from office and mixed use to commercial. An ordinance to reclassify property located in the city of Little Rock, Arkansas, second reading.
Move to suspend the rules and place on third and final reading.
Second.
There's been a motion and a second to suspend the rules to move to third and final reading. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, say nay. Okay, Madam Clerk, third reading, please.
An ordinance to approve a plan zoning development, establish a plan development commercial titled Custom Made Properties Mini Storage PDC located at 2501 South State Street. An ordinance to approve a plan zoning development, establish a plan development residential titled SMH Care and Services PDR located at 2222 South Chester Street. An ordinance to approve a plan zoning development, establish a plan commercial development titled Lorax LLC PCD located at 405 East 21st Street. An ordinance to amend the land use plan in the Pinnacle Planning District located at 18,404 Cantrell Road from office and mixed use to commercial. An ordinance to reclassify property located in the city of Little Rock, Arkansas, third and final reading.
Okay, we've had three readings of the ordinances. Are there any questions? I don't see any hands at this point. Okay, all those in favor of the passage of the ordinance, please say aye.
Aye.
Those that are opposed, please say no. Okay, item 31 was deferred. Sorry? Oh, the ordinances have passed. I apologize. Thank you. Thank you, Tom Carpenter. The next is citizens' communications, and I've not been given any cards. So we didn't have any. Okay. All right. We are at the end of our agenda. Fast. Y'all should have me here every
Director
night.
Wire, I wanted to bring to the board's attention that on Thursday of this week, the Metropolitan Housing Alliance is having a meeting. At the last meeting, Directors Adcock and Miller appeared, and I appeared and made a comment to the Housing Authority that while we're in this sort of critical state with the Department of Housing and Urban Development, it's very important that no steps be taken to terminate any employees. One of the things noted in the Quality Assurance Division's report of September the 1st is that there's been essentially 6 directors in 5 years at the Housing Authority. Right now, they're trying to get responses in about compliance with the troubled status and also compliance with the matters that were brought up before. And even though this board has a hearing on the 26th to deal with various issues as to commissioners, it might be appropriate if we appear again and state that it's important to not change horses in the middle of a stream and keep the personnel in place. And I wanted to bring that to the board's attention.
Thank you for that. I do have some directors have raised their hands. Okay, Director Hines, you're first.
Yes, I would like to put that out to the Housing Authority Commission that as we continue to go through this process, that the status quo in the eyes of HUD is actually a good thing. I think they're comfortable with working with us. We've got some concurrence, but to do something like get rid of your 6 executive director in 6 years. It does not set a good precedent.
Okay, thank you, Director Hines. Director Miller?
Thank you, Mayor, Vice Director Howard. I plan on attending the meeting Thursday, but I'm trying to find out, maybe Tom, you can help me. It's a 5-member commission. They only have, what, 3 active commissioners right now? Is that a quorum?
They've got some language in their bylaws that suggests that a 2-to-1 vote might be able to take action.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Director Richardson?
Thank you. As a liaison to that, the Alliance, Tom, the late great Director Hensley and I were liaisons, and of course we weren't voting members, but we tried to bring that phenomenon to the attention of this board once we received choice neighborhood designation and funding to support that. And when they removed, I think Robertson Henninger was the director then at that time, and Director Hensley and I tried to address that in a fashion, maybe not as quite as legal or specific as you're doing now, to the attention of this board with little support and or involvement. And shortly after that, Rodney Forte, I think he was the next one. And I think, in my opinion, as liaison to that board at the time, what I witnessed was a lot of micromanaging or attempting micromanagement from the board and the commission within the department. So I support what you say, and I've witnessed it firsthand with respect to the changing of leadership. And I think that's been a phenomenon, an unfortunate reality for people who worked over there to have to deal with these changes that are, in my opinion, not warranted. So I thank you for bringing that to our attention.
Good information. Okay, Director Adcock?
Yes, I agree with Director Hines. I don't think now is the time to try to change staff. As we all know, that the city is looking at maybe being responsible for some of the money that is missing or been not allocated properly. And I'm afraid if we start pulling the staff people that have been working on this response to HUD, then that's going to set us back further. And I would like to agree with Director Hines and Director Miller that we need to keep all staff people in place until the time that we have finished our interviews and when we've decided on next steps. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Adcock. I think all the comments are appropriate to the situation that we're in right now, and we'll need the existing staff to help us move forward to clear up whatever issues that have been found. Okay, that clears out my little table. I don't have any other people that have any comments.
Move to adjourn.
Okay, do I hear a second? Okay, those in favor to adjourn, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, say nay.
Hey.
Thank you very much.
I mean, I'm sorry.
No, we have enough votes to move on.
Win.
Did you have something, Director Miller?
Not
Not
really.
30 minutes,
Not really.
Marshall.
Okay, all right.
You just want to win.
Thank you so much.